All right, friends. I know it's crazy, but we're back. Shipbreakers, Stars of That Numbers Revised, episode 23. I haven't looked at my analytics in almost 2 months. Basically, since I hit the last YouTube goal that I had of breaking 3,000 subscribers. I don't ever vocalize my goals. And I wouldn't say it's a goal. I guess it's just an achievement, right? Like I hit 3,000 subscribers and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Nice to get across that, hurdle.
Oh yeah.
After 10 years.
A win's a win.
A win is a win. By the way, I didn't realize that the Terra Invicta video had almost 1,000 views and is one of the most popular videos on my channel of all time, despite the fact it is literally 10 minutes of me going,
narrated.
So this is how you play Terra Invicta in the beginning time, and it is only for the specific patch I'm talking about. There will be a new patch shortly. Speaking of, that new patch is out right now, and it does change some of the things I talk about in that video. It validates about a third of the video.
That's pretty funny.
It's
and
crazy.
In your video, you refer to that other guy, Peru Gaming or whatever.
Perrin.
You probably got Perrin. Yeah, you got him a bunch of viewers, I'm sure.
I like Perrin. He does a great job at what he does.
Yeah.
And Potato McWhiskey also did a great job as well. Anyway, so it turns out this series is actually the second most popular on my channel. For the longest
Nice.
time, it was BattleTech, A Time of Total Warfare, and then it got overtaken immediately by Oath of Endosteel. And Endosteel has held that spot for about 3.5 years or 4, however long it's been out. Maybe 2018, not 2018, late 2019 at the earliest, I think. Blades of Honor overtook it 2 weeks ago. For first place, but I hadn't noticed that this show has slowly been creeping up in viewers. And the thing is, it's people who are starting the series at the beginning and like 2 weeks ago they started the series at the beginning and are working their way through it and are catching up, rather than all of the people on YouTube that watch it every week as the episode comes out. So this is actually kind of strange for me. It's a little while, yeah.
Fun.
A lot of newbies joining us, so welcome, newbies. Also, this series is kind of quiet, except for Maclay 8. There's not a lot of comments on it. That's not a bad thing. Of course, the episodes are half the length of my other shows, so
We're dense.
it's fucking dense as hell. Speaking of, we should get around to playing this game instead of talking about playing this game.
If you like this and watching us suffer here, check out Solaris Knights.
It's a very different show, though. Just to be clear, it's a one-on-one dueling series for BattleTech. But hey, I really want to bring Solaris Knights with a K into existence. But I've been extremely clear that this series has to end first. Until this show is done, I can't even begin to think about Solaris Knights.
Until that TPK happens.
I don't know why you think a TPK would be the end of this show. Interesting that you think that. Interesting.
Well, it's only because we can rewind time, or I should say, one of us can rewind time.
Well, you can rewind time for one turn. I mean, that doesn't prevent you from TPKing.
Yeah,
it's not even
There's
really
ways.
rewinding time so much as going, yeah, well, that was a simulation that never happened in the first place.
I mean,
just kidding.
It doesn't grant you immortality. Now, admittedly, MINERVA is the closest to being an immortal out of all of the characters here so far. Yeah. If Quentin became a I was going to say botanist, then I was going to say biologist.
Oh, yeah, the
biopsionicist. I believe the upper levels of biopsionicist are just like you live as long as you feel like.
Yeah, no, there's like a level 4 ability where your body can be completely disintegrated and you can reform. Like,
yeah.
Jesus. Wild.
I mean, I was honestly just mentioning the time thing to tie in your mechanic that's not in an RPG from the intro hour.
Hey, I like rolling dice. What can I say? Intro hour. Check it out every week. Let's talk about goals. Goals from people like Ludemann playing Quentin Alexander Polk IV, or Dunamis playing Vandorn Van-Vee Vantis, or KainDamael. Sorry, you've pronounced it as KainDamael, which is really throwing me through a loop because I've called you KainDamael for 2 years and I didn't realize it wasn't pronounced that. KainDamael as Minerva.
I don't even remember where it started, so it's really old.
Let's talk about goals that you have for this episode.
I think Van-Vee's goal is going to try to locate Zoe for Quentin.
Good.
Okay.
Quentin's goal, I believe, will be to try to secure more concrete and like specific support for Lita from various people anyway.
Interesting. Let me ask you a question that will sound ominous for a reason. Is it important that you secure support for the psionic government of Lita or for the people of Lita? Yes.
Quentin certainly doesn't have like a specific idea of what the psionic government of Lita actually is at this point. So he's not as concerned as with that part in particular as with helping the people of Lita specifically. So yeah, he is still one of his, if he had a medium term goal, it would be to figure out the psionic government of Lita if it still exists in any capacity.
I see. Unfortunately, we don't do medium-term goals.
Yeah.
On so many of my shows now, I have the 2-goal system on almost all my shows right now, and consistently people want to have a third goal.
I know, it's a good system, though.
I enjoyed that in the last Blades of Honor. There was like the debate of, was that a short term or a long term? And I was like, I remember this moment. It starts without numbers.
Oath of Venosteel also has someone that wanted 3 goals, and I was like, but you can only have 2. Speaking of someone who needs a second goal, Minerva.
I think Minerva wants to try to determine what the captain's current path is with this whole psionics thing. The drugs mysteriously appeared and all of that. Because Minerva is trying to figure out whether or not there are more lives that are in immediate danger before trying to push the captain towards going to the signal.
I want to be a dick about this one. Your goal is so incredibly passive that I'm disinclined to acquiesce to it.
Okay.
Is there a direction you would instead push the captain? Or, I mean, your goal is basically sit back and ask the captain what they want to do, which you can accomplish in a single sentence by walking up to the captain and going, hey, what are you doing? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, I could give you that goal, but what experience do you gain? How does it advance you as a person and as an adventurer for such a... I mean, you don't even have to walk because you're the ship. You could just open a communicator and ask this question.
We are going to be on a Stopel. You could think about having a goal related to a Neo-WSM and improving the situation there.
I want to be clear. I like the framework of figuring out what the captain's doing, but I just don't think that, like, I want to try to determine what the captain's doing. Like, I don't think that's enough. I think you either want to, if you want that to be a goal, it has to be some way of, like, trying to help the captain framework it, push it in a specific direction. Maybe even something like, I want to analyze the captain's future goals for how it will work out in the future, because we've talked about it a lot. You are like a simulationist. You do run lots of long-term futurist plans.
That, yeah.
And coming back to Quentin with like, hey, I've run this simulation. Logically, your plan will not work out. Bad things will happen, and these are the cascades that I predict will happen. Or, other goals have been suggested.
Quentin does have a number of plans he would be interested in running by Minerva.
Yeah, okay. How about work with the crew to give us a unified direction on the next task we're doing, since we're all being pulled in different directions, to try to get us all solidly behind one thing.
That's such an incredible goal because you are all going in different directions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's accurate.
And the crew goal.
Oh, crew goal. What's
Kinda
to
like
get here? We are here now.
I kind of like the Carlita idea. Team up with Carlito. I even looked
That
at an O
requires-
this time, and I still said A.
It's an O on the end, Carlito.
Yeah.
Literally the
Carlito.
first character you met in this show with a name.
I would argue the first guy we met was a guy I shot. But okay.
Yeah, what was his name?
Now you make me scroll all the way up. She's going into the training. Jameson Talley. Oh no, that's no, that's the ship. We shot his uncle, whose name I didn't write down.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
You killed a man. He mattered so little to you. You didn't even know who he was.
He was an uncle.
No, but he did make the social media video for it. Or no, wait, somebody else did.
Anyways, I think strike an idea with Carlito to see if we can get his assistance producing MES medication and teaming up to take down Mark Marino. I feel like there's mutual interest in at least one of those, and if we can swing away to do a second.
Yeah, definitely interest in Mark Marino and securing some other alternative source of the medication, or like spreading that access so it's not just a single potentially profiteering corporation.
That's true.
Could be good, but if in this case it would be a profiteering drug cartel. But
we're starting with just him.
They
Hopefully
would
we'll
compete
find
with
more.
each other. Competition supposedly is good in the marketplace.
I'll undercut you. That's not how this works.
I was thinking maybe something like we have, hey, come to Midapile and don't come to Midapile. Make a decision over whether or not we're going to avoid or try to go to Midapile.
That is definitely the biggest one there that is important to remember is you got that message there from y'all saying explicitly don't come here. We've got Carlito asking us to go there. We've got Sophie in front of us. I believe she has said that she would like us to go there. Something to that effect.
The Prime Minister has asked me to go there.
You asked Sophie to be here.
Yes, we did.
There's a conversation to be had.
She normally would be at home. You've asked her to be
Yes.
here. You haven't told her why.
Right. We haven't gotten that point.
Okay.
A big old conversation.
So don't assume that Sophie wants you to go back just to go back. If she wants you to go back, it could just be because she wants to get dropped off on her way home. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't want to have to get an Uber when she's in a taxi.
Reasonable point.
But I think that could be a good one too, to decide if we're going to avoid Midapile or if it's still an available destination to us.
That's just a yes or no.
Because that's really big.
Yeah, but the interesting part is that also builds on Kain's other goal, which is to get the crew in a unified direction. So it's basically easy money for him right there. Like, that's
XP
two
for
goals
you.
knocked out instantly.
I mean, even if our direction forward isn't to Midapile, we do need to figure out whether or not we're going to explicitly avoid it or if it's an available destination to us in the future.
I'm agreeing with you. This is a great goal for several reasons, but also it's a great goal for you.
Maybe our goal should be to move Golden Goose LLC off of Midapile if we're not going to go back there.
Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe not move, but expand, right? Someday.
It's true.
What is your crew goal?
Yeah, what did we land at there?
To decide on what we're
Each
going to
of
do
you has
about
offered a different crew goal.
Midapile. I think I like the idea of essentially solidifying what we're going to do in regards to Midapile, solidifying what Sophie, decision, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we have that conversation with her, everything's going to change, I'm sure. So,
Lock it in.
final answer.
We find ourselves looking at the 5 chassis that we've seen previously. They pass walking along the outside of a Mandate naval station. They pass two beautiful cruisers adorned with very large, like it's large enough that you could read it on a flyby sort of size, like a flyby of like a kilometer away, essentially. Like the script on the side of these cruisers must be massive, of religious text from Catholic Bible. And they are covered in sensor equipment and armor, oversized engines, huge electronic arrays that make it clear that if these ships don't belong to these 5 Imago Dei, then at the very least they must be someone's Imago Dei ships. We get the montage of them spacewalking past them and then entering into the naval base, where it's clear that the dock, like the wet dock, like everything that faces out into space, is complete chaos. Everyone is shooting at someone in some way. And the thing about shooting in space with space weapons, especially military grade space weapons, is that it doesn't take very long to disable a ship, but it does take a really long time to destroy a ship. And so what you have is a bunch of hulk ships all shooting at each other. They are all disabled except maybe for their heavily shielded power systems and whatever weapons other people can't hit. And so they're all shooting at each other's blind spot, hoping to eventually destroy each other. But functionally, these ships have no value. Their engines are all gone. Their sensor systems are all gone. Any ability to have air tightness is gone. It's just a bunch of dead ships slowly bleeding oxygen and heat until everyone inside is either sealed inside an environmental suit or dead. You could see from these 5 like kneeling down, they're trying to find who's in charge here, and there are like a group of Mandate Marines that are essentially like boarding each ship, giving them an ultimatum like stop firing or we're going to take command of your vessel and arrest you. And they appear to be sweeping like over the area as tactically as possible. It does seem that they are doing their best to keep themselves intact rather than do this quickly. They're doing it smartly. And we see that the Marines and these 5 open a conversation with each other. And the Marines, like again, these guys, the robot suits don't need oxygen, and they don't need to open their mouths to talk. They're just transmitting data, and we don't hear what the Marines are saying. So it's literally a conversation where like we can see Expanse style, like Marines over here, robots over here, tons of gunfire in between them, like completely black, no lights, just like orange laser beams, errant missiles, autocannon just like and there's like a Marine captain that's just like, and that is the whole scene. We come
and all
back
he
to the
really said
present.
was reload.
Wow, reload takes a long time in Mandate, I guess.
Somebody
Super
just
inefficient.
doesn't. Somebody forgot they have to shoot off the screen.
We see you all touching down in a different part of Astapel. Previously, you landed in a sort of turn of the century, 20th century, small Model T cars with old style claptrappy robots and, you know, pizza shops and, you know, good time America style place. You are landing in the middle of a mud field that makes you uncertain if if you land here, if you're going to be able to take off just from the suction force as the ship's landing pylon sink a solid 2.5 feet into the mud. It may require sandblasting your way back off the surface, just eliminating what's down there. You are on the outskirts of a large Indian village. And I don't mean Native American, I mean India. There are electrical cables everywhere that have clearly been put up by members of the community, not the government, and they're splitting off in like 7 directions. The streets are too small for vehicles and are just like people on electric Vespas just bumping into each other constantly. No traffic lights. There are traffic jams at every intersection, and sometimes there are 5 or 7-way intersections. It's just a lot of people on bikes yelling at each other, colliding with each other. The smell is incredible when you head down to the ship's elevator. It smells earthy and dirty, and also you guys eat like pre-packaged food made for spacers. This place smells like a spice factory. You get down here and you're like, is that garam masala cumin curry powder? 2 types of sugar and saffron? How can I smell that from over a quarter mile away? One thing that you see a lot of are small robots everywhere. People are transporting parts of robots with them. They have robots strapped on their backs. Sometimes a robot is just riding one of the mopeds instead of a person. There are little hawk robots that are flying through the area. Not like jet thrusters. They're literally like straight up flying with wing flapping motions. There are like little surveillance bumblebee robots that are keeping an eye on everything throughout this area. For such a low-tech planet, there's some weirdly anachronistic, futuristic stuff here. Although, again, for you, all of you have more or less lived your life in TL4 levels of comfort, so this stuff is like a real throwback. You're like, crystal radios? Oh, quaint. Oh, man. I don't... maybe Kain is the only one who knows what a crystal radio is. Okay. Who's going where? All of you have received a tailored antigen shot from Dr. Fish, by the way.
Sweet.
I would like to have sent a message to the 2 of you stating that I have a plan. It seems that communicating with me is difficult and has provided some confusion. So my plan is to present myself as a completed VI built by your former crewman MINERVA.
That holds a little water.
Do we have that VI chassis, or do you just mean like what?
A VI is not a chassis; it is a program.
Right, but are you gonna have one? Or are you just saying you're gonna be a VI that MINERVA built? That's
what
all.
Did Yono think? MINERVA what had like an implant?
Cybernetic.
Some cybernetics. We could say that you might be a copy of MINERVA's intellect or something too. I don't know. It depends on how crazy you want to get. I like this VI idea though. I think it's a good path forward, especially if Dr. Fish is going to be on the ship.
I mean, I guess that answers how we can keep talking to a MINERVA, but isn't Fish still wondering what happened to the old MINERVA?
I mean, this makes for a sign of a grieving process. If this program was left intact and it took you time to grieve and turn it on,
so you're saying your old armature is the MINERVA that's no longer here, and that's what Dr. Fish thinks we lost, which we did lose, but we didn't lose you. And instead, that MINERVA built this VI kind of, I guess, that will interact still through you with. I mean, is all this just a full fish?
This is also to help explain, since it appears that you have been overheard and you will presumably be again.
This gives us plausible deniability on AI in general. You know, this explains why we might have automation set up in the ship, etc. You know, to a certain degree, anyway.
I feel like I'm just going to
still want to spread it around, but
I'm just going to keep talking to you like I do. And if someone says, "What are you doing?" I'll say, "I'm talking to the VI." That feels like all I need to know.
it's like a plan, Van-Vee.
Can you remind me, Minerva, what did my family know about you? Or what does Sophie specifically know? She does not know you're a VI. Gosh darn it, an AI, right?
If your family did any looking into, the information that I understand is available is that I worked for the government of Midopile for a period of time, and that information is sealed.
All right, so the answer is no. Got it.
If she knows more than that, then the government of Midopile might have some concerns.
All right, so the answer is no. Got it. All right. Well, I guess we're here.
If you are heading off the ship, would you please purchase the box and the sledge?
Box and a sledge.
What you mean, like a box to put a sledgehammer in?
No, 2 chassis that are on the market.
Oh, right, of course. And that's where the VI will live, right?
VI can have functionality. And there's the whole point of all these extra systems installed in the Golden Goose is compatible with VI.
Wait a minute. Can you be in both of those things at the same time? Can you split yourself and be in multiple armatures?
I can.
Can you make like an army?
I could.
That's pretty cool.
I suppose.
No, it is.
But I'm not interested in that.
All right, fine. I was just going to call you Ultron, but that works.
I don't understand. But I don't wish to be an army.
Wow.
All right, we'll get you your box and your sledge.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, how much are these things before I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of when I get there?
I'm unsure. I know that they're available.
All right. So no matter what they say, we'll just haggle.
And of course, the funding for such should come out of my portion of, since it is a resource that I require, should come out of my money.
I'll say you tried your last one tried to blow us up. I'm sorry, that wasn't your fault.
Still don't know whose fault it was. Honestly, we don't know a whole hell of a lot about what happened.
Yeah,
there.
I've been wondering about that. How do we know that's not going to happen again, Minerva?
I don't really want to talk about this right now, but I suppose the only answer I can give you to that is you'll have to trust me.
It's a good answer. All
and
right.
if you don't, you don't. I can't do anything other than tell you.
Steady as she goes, Minerva, but some clarity at some point might be nice. Let's go get you a body. Come on, Van-Vee. We'll go in search of a dealer.
Did Dr. Fish sign the NDA that was sent?
I think that you have a read receipt from her, and that's about it.
Okay.
She has not declined it, but she also has not signed it.
Fair enough.
Would she know what it is, given her tech levels and all that, like where she's from? Has she encountered like an NDA like this before?
It's written word. It's not like it's fusion
paperwork
letters.
in hospitals.
I'm certain she's encountered a non-disclosure agreement before. She's a hospital administrator. As she probably doesn't have an understanding of the implication of what's being asked.
That's fair.
the two of you head out into market. My question is, are you going on foot or are you going capybara back? It's just been a while since we've seen Louis. It's been like 10 episodes.
No, I feel like Louis would be sticking close to Quentin unless Quentin specifically shoos him away at this point. And one thing to make clear is Quentin does not look super good, like healthy in general at this stage. He's certainly not sleeping without a drink or two at the end of a night, and those nights are long for sure. So that is definitely wearing on him and very visible. And Louis is for sure sticking close. So I guess they will proceed on Capybara.
As we're leaving, I will like to shoot a text message to Minerva asking if they can look into maybe Zoe's last whereabouts, and discreetly asking if Minerva would consider just this once looking at the last messages Captain sent to Zoe, not to read the message, but to try to figure out the destination it was read from or picked up at. Slight invasion of privacy request.
And in the background, I would say that Quentin probably has exchanged like occasional, like how you doing, where you been, occasional, not often.
Minerva's answer to you, Van-Vee, is I will look into it.
What about Minerva in text? How fast do capybaras go when you're riding them? I mean, if it's not like riding a horse, then I think Van-Vee would just walk along with you. But if you're like racing, then I'll probably have to find a mode of transportation.
So the thing is that you see that the few people who go on foot, no one makes way for them. But Capybara Maximuses are considered a sign of wealth and power. So when you show up riding it, people make way and give you space, if only that they wouldn't want to hit your capybara and be subject to litigious activity. They don't want to get sued for hitting your living transportation. So you also invoke some like joy from local children who come out of like adobe and like mud and clay baked buildings to like put flowers on Louis. They hand flowers to the two of you. They're speaking language Quentin doesn't understand, but Van-Vee is a diplomat, so you actually do speak Hindi. And they're babbling like children, just, oh my gosh, this is such a big capybara. Oh, it's green. That's so weird. Oh, it's so cool. And they're like, oh, like this guy looks so tough. Look at his leather duster and his gun at his belt. Wow, I think I've seen a toy of him before.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Quentin, several of the children are commenting, like, you don't understand what they're saying, but they're like tugging at your pants and asking if you want to see a local. They say shaman, not doctor.
I think if Quentin looks curious,
what they're asking you is
otherwise...
do you want to get taken down to the river to see the shaman?
If they persist on that, I'd loosely translate and say, hey, you want to go see some local guy that wants you to go check out. Up to you, Cat.
What they say he does?
Well, they say he's like a shaman type.
What? No, I don't know. You don't think he's a psionic?
I will attempt to ask Psionic back in whatever broken Hindi I speak.
I mean, you speak fluent Hindi. You don't have
Fluent.
to.
Oh shoot. Okay.
You're a diplomat.
Yeah.
I thought it
Speak
said I
everything.
had to. I thought I had to be around it for like a week or so before I started.
I guess. I want to imagine it's like Indiana Jones. You know, you show up and you speak good enough to get along with the locals until you
He
find.
probably refreshes on his way into a system, right? You know?
I just sit there playing with the link instead of studying up the language. Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I would totally. I'd ask, does this shaman have any unique abilities? Can he do things other people can't?
Yeah, they all nod. It doesn't like the things they're saying, however, don't sound like a psionicist. It sounds like a psychologist. He
Guess
heals
I'm,
sicknesses of the spirit.
Quentin chuckles. Maybe
You know,
pats
Cap,
one on the head and says, no, thank you.
Maybe on the way
concern.
back. It's like, you know, when you're going in and out of a store, you just say, oh, I got you on the way in. I'll get you on the way out.
All right. So, you know, you break away from. You've been moving the whole time, and the kids have just been walking beside you. You essentially have a bubble, a shield of children around you at all times. It's just that, you know, the kids only go for like a block before they have to go back to their house. And the next wave of kids is waiting to break into your bubble as you make your way forward through the crowded streets towards. You ask people around for a marketplace for robotics goods, and you are directed towards an open air marketplace. The outside of it is a lot of rug stalls and like spices, fresh fruit. But as you make your way deeper in, you smell the stench of fried electronics, copper wiring, ozone. There are hundreds of people sitting in a line that have formed a assembly line that are taking things that are prepared and adding what they do to it before passing it to the next person. And it's clear that they are custom assembling left legs of the little robots that the rest of the planet uses right here in front of you. And someone walks forward. It is a old woman. She looks like she's in her 80s. Her skin is like very deeply browned with wrinkles. She's got like 6 necklaces on with colored clay beads. And like a walking stick that she uses to hit your capybara, and she goes, "Stop!" In mandate, so basically like the common language, and says, "You can't come down this way. You're not part of this process. You are looking to buy, I think."
Well,
Nailed it.
we are.
What are you looking to purchase? Torques? Guns?
Maybe some of those.
We don't sell guns.
Well, we're definitely
somewhere
here.
else.
Why'd you offer them then? We're
Bad
looking
people
for-
come and they want to buy guns from us. We say no. You are bad people.
All right, well, now you're jumping to conclusions there, ma'am.
You
we've been
just
shot
asked
at
to buy
lately.
guns.
We've been shot at lately.
Oh,
Anyway.
so someone using violence on you means you can use violence on anyone.
No, ma'am, of course not. But what we are here for
You have sickness in the head.
Maybe we should go see that
is,
shaman.
Van-Vee, this one's all you.
Bad thoughts.
You know, we're just looking to buy, some robots, some armatures, a chassis.
Robots, armatures, 2 different things. You want to buy
Armatures.
armatures. We sell 1 armature per person per lifetime.
Why
We
the
got 2
limit?
people here.
It could be more business if you allow more than one.
More business is better. Unrestricted use of resources. Not smart. Not wise.
All right. Well, how
Many
about-
armatures, robot army, everyone dies. No. 1 armature. Good, guaranteed length of average human life. According to medical studies, 95 years. We warranty.
You have a very interesting way of doing business. What
You are
what,
used off order. You are used to unrestricted capitalism. That is not how we do things here. We do business smart with our hearts. You do business stupid.
All right. My family runs the business. I don't know. I appreciate that. Regardless, I don't want to get cut off this. What armatures do you have available? We are 2 individuals. We would like 1 armature each.
2 armatures. Very suspicious. What do you need them for?
I believe that's our business.
Best answer you've had so far. We have box, jack, and sledge available.
Box, jack, and sledge. Now, let's see.
She provides you with a modern TL4 tablet with the specs on all 3, and the price in both local currency and in exchange of light credits.
I think I'm a bit partial here to the box, and I think my captain here is a little partial to the sledge.
It's about right to me.
What's your asking price on these 2 models?
I mean, she listed out for you. You said the box and the sledge.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I got those right.
Yeah, 4,000 and 6,000.
Oof, man, I would say I feel like taking 2 off your hands gives you better business, but I'm not sure you believe in that. So I feel like 10,000 is still just a little steep, though. What would you say to, I don't know, 4,000 each? And we'll let everyone know where we got these fine pieces of equipment that last, would you say, 95 years? More than
everyone knows where they come from. We are the only one who makes them. Do not think that because you are handsome and smile at me like you are my grandson, you will.
Is that true? Is that really true, though? This is literally the only place in the entire sector to get them?
Everywhere else, right. I mean, everywhere else, it's restricted to government only because the concern that they could be turned into war robots or could be taken over by rogue VI or AI.
Well, all right, ma'am. You are. I tell you, I can tell you've been doing this for a while. You're a smart cookie.
I would like you to roll trade in a versus.
Wisdom, intelligence,
charisma.
Shouldn't have said that one. This is just a straight roll.
Okay. Can be tonight. The 2 of you have a discussion that lasts like 5 minutes. I want to give Quentin an opportunity to get down off of the capybara and maybe walk around the market if you wanted to.
Yeah. Happily.
So what you're seeing is that these 3 specific types of units that they're making, the armatures, you make your way over to that. In the background, we can see Van-Vee is still on the capybara arguing with this woman. You walk up to the section of a different assembly line where people are weaving copper wire into core rope memory, which you basically have heard of but never seen. This is like the original version of ROM. That like it's software in hardware. Like the box that they're making will run a program exactly. It is unpatchable software because it's a physical unit, and if anything happens to any of these little parts, the whole thing will fail. But you're looking at like 8 people working together to like stitch copper wires perfectly on one, like all of them are huddled around essentially like a
it's literally
small
like a
little
loom
box.
style.
Yeah. Expertly like roping everything together. One of them looks up and sees you and like nods and gestures for you to like look around, look further through. You could see that like these armatures are going to be extremely resilient to like virus intrusion and that sort of thing, but they will not have a lot of RAM. You do see that like the core of all these units will have some RAM to it. But someone comes forward and is like, good sir, good sir. I hear from the grandmother that you are looking to buy an armature for yourself. Wise.
Yeah. Van-Vee over there, he's taking care of the negotiations. You're doing beautiful work over here.
You know, sometimes you need a little extra functionality. My uncle, he's over there. He sells processing backpacks that will provide extra power to your unit in case you want to add functionality.
Yeah.
Very good price.
Very
Can't
good
find
plan.
them
You know,
anywhere
not pulling
else.
my leg.
Pulling your leg, sir? No, I would never.
Well, Quentin will start to wander over there, but can he, roll some sort of check to see if this guy's actually like it's a legit business or just looks like vaporware?
These are legit. The problem is that they're TL3 processing clusters. So if this was, they're offering +1 processing clusters. If this were a TL4 cluster, it would weigh about 2 pounds and essentially be the size of like a memory drive, like a USB memory drive. These are essentially more the size of a Disney World fanny pack.
Nice.
And they weigh closer to like 20 pounds. It'll have to be strapped to the chassis and then like a cable run to the into the chassis. They're like external RAM drives essentially.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If Minerva is paying attention, because I assume she'd be interested in this trip, Quentin would kind of double tap on his compad or send a quick message to see if she's interested in these processing packs and look them over a bit himself. Ask the guy the price. Start that conversation.
I don't think I can see anything. I can just hear through your hot mic and whatever you send me.
Well, Quentin would narrate, right? He would say, he'd sort of look over it, use his, describe essentially exactly that, like size and weight. And it looks pretty legit, but, definitely you might be able to find something a little fancier somewhere else. But
you walk over to the place, a slightly overweight man who, just because he has a round belly and like a little bit of extra flesh around his arms does not mean this dude is also not, I don't want to say jacked, but like he's a strong guy. He reaches out a hand to shake your hand and does the double hand. So he like forces you into a handshake and he says, hello, howdy, partner. I see you're a cowboy.
Like jostling.
Yes. I learned your language so I can speak to people like you.
Oh, great. That's, yeah. Honestly, I wish I had that ability. I'm no good with it.
You want processing backpack for unit?
I think so. I'm definitely interested. So what are we talking here? What's the damage?
So he starts showing you like he's upfront that they're going to cost 2,000. What he's trying to do is sell you on the skins for it. Whether you like. This is the one that lets it blend into a sledge, and this is the one that lets it blend into a box. This is the one that, makes it look kind of like Hello Kitty-ish. This is the one that, is all black with a matte finish. This is like the rainbow representation one. He's just like talking you through like, like you can get the processor, it's 2,000. Let's talk about what you want it to look like,
All right.
This would be helpful if you think that it is worth the expenditure.
I'll shoot Minerva. Yeah, if you think this is going to help at all. He's tapping a little bit. He's not saying this out loud. and then let's do it. Out loud, he says to the guy, "Well, I'm definitely interested. Just got the one here. All right. You got any?" Said what? You got matte black. You got some Hello Kitty. Now Minerva. This is Quentin quirks a little smile at that. Just give me the Hello Kitty and a matte black.
He looks at you oddly and says, "Okay. Ooh, okay."
Well, just options, right? I assume these just pop on and off, right?
Make a perception wisdom check.
Ooh. Ooh. Shoot, where's the...
So AP, I've been wondering this. I'd be guilty if I didn't ask. Did your last formula supposed to have keep 2 dice instead of 1?
Is that notice?
Oh yeah, what's keep? Oh wow, it was so much higher, so much higher.
I know it means I lose. I didn't want to say anything, but I was like,
Okay,
my guilt
you're
is
right.
kicking in.
I appreciate that. Sorry, what was the question?
Notice, you said, right? Or
yeah, whatever the version of perception wisdom is.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your declaration that you want to is getting you looks from people around here, but it seems like people are too polite to say anything about it.
Oh, okay.
You
So
can't
two.
quite remember. You feel like there's some reason that you shouldn't be getting to, but
I said 2 of the covers though. I thought these were just like decorative covers.
oh no, like it's baked onto.
I see. Okay.
These are. I mean, they are decorative covers, but like they're on those suckers. It's not.
I thought you meant
like
this was just like
you can take off
literally
and
like
put back
yeah,
on.
yeah.
No.
I took it that way too. Yeah,
Decorative
buy one
type of
unit.
thing. Yeah. That was my interpretation. So no, he'll just pick the regular matte black. He won't curse Minerva with something too cutesy. Just
All right.
That's funny.
He holds out a hand. One hand is open for cash, and the other hand has a little like Apple Pass thing that you can boop 2,000 credits over to if you want to do the transaction that
credits.
way. He says, "Thank you for doing business with Enki, cowboy."
Well, thank you, sir.
He hands you with 2 hands a 20-pound brick with a wire
Quentin,
hanging off of it.
Ooh, okay. Like 20 pounds shouldn't be a problem for him, but is like surprisingly sets him off balance just a touch, but he catches himself.
Just
Okay.
throw it on top of Louis.
So many fan artists still furiously scribble up a Minerva cat box.
Hey, look, we could have had Hawk Minerva, and we've chosen not to do that. Minerva as a hawk drone. Those are real.
That would have been cool.
We cut back to Van-Vee. Your negotiations are flatly. This woman holds.
They suddenly pulled a 180.
I have so many grandchildren to feed. You think that your handsome smile and roguish charm is good enough to sway me? No.
All right.
pay?
Just give me the 2 units. Gosh,
10,000. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
give you 1 unit. Your friend must come over, and both of you have to thumbprint and blood donation, and identity confirm with exchange of light.
Blood donation. Okay. I'm saying this out loud slowly, hoping Minerva picks it up and checking if that is okay for both of us to do, or if we get flagged for something.
As I understand it, when in the quarantine zone, it is a biotested
Specific
material.
scanner.
So
Was it a blood test or just a scanner? Yeah, it was just like a scanner, right? I don't
I remember the dude that was supposed to do you did himself instead.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah, I thought it was a sample.
It might be.
And if I think when he hears that, Van-Vee might back down a bit and say, "Oh, blood sample. Shoot. Okay. Maybe we'll just take 1 unit then, because he doesn't want to like reveal. Well, I don't know what.
Quentin would be, I guess, wandering over at that point with his brick.
Well, I gotta say,
What's going on?
Hey Cap. I'm just counting our credits here, and I'm thinking, I don't know if we can afford to, and a blood sample, that seems a little invasive, but
What, blood sample?
that's what I was saying too.
Why do you need blood?
Confirming your identity.
Why
Only
should
1
confirm my
unit per
identity?
person per lifetime.
Yeah, of course. No, fully understand you, but can't you use our exchange of light IDs?
We are using
That's
our exchange
standard.
of light ID. They can be faked.
Mm.
Fingerprint, blood, exchange of light identity. All 3
Happy to
required.
give the fingerprint. Happy to give the exchange of light ID. The blood seems a little excessive, but that's just me. I'll do it, I guess, if I have to get one. Van-Vee, I hear
She clucks her tongue
he's
at
got
you.
a bit of a religious issue.
People nearby physically cringe when she clucks her tongue.
And me?
No, at her.
No.
This feels like a situation where, trying to throw my money at it may not work, Cap.
I'm not trying to throw money at this. I'm saying
No,
I'll
that's
happily
just-
give you the blood for my end, but
That's usually what I do in
that
this
Van-Vee
situation.
here is a little bit hesitant on account of he's got a little bit of a religious hang up on certain medical services and a little bit squidgy about blood in general. I'll be honest. We got another crew member. I could maybe get out here if we need to really have a different person do this if they're willing. This is a bummer. Huge pain in the butt.
You get a text notification.
I think Van-Vee's just been staring at his phone waiting for that text.
So did I remember correctly that it was a sample test with my machine-like memory?
Is there any risk to this
Yes.
blood from Minerva's perspective?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the text will say,
Here's what I'll tell you.
okay.
Van-Vee has been scanned by the autodoc many times, and it has never flagged anything because the autodoc, you all already know this, the autodoc is set for mandate standard human. It's just a program that has been copied since literally the mandate over and over again. And mandate standard human should have the presence of the link in it. So it also doesn't flag that. It has never been flagged unless someone is specifically looking for link particle presence.
I guess.
And that's what the quarantine zone is. They are specifically looking for the presence
Theoretically, there should be low
of
risk.
dust. Sorry, I'm saying link, but it's dust particles.
Dust, yeah.
We
yeah,
keep
yeah.
saying link, but the link isn't the bad part. The dust is the bad part.
Right. Link's just weird. Dust
Yeah,
is evil.
I mean, the link is just totally normal. I mean, you say the
Everything's
dust is evil. Is it evil?
I said
it is
supposedly, right?
thoroughly invasive, sure.
It is Van-Vee, so I don't think Van-Vee's evil,
Scarily
though.
fascist, sure, but is it evil? I mean, it's a tool.
There you go. There you
A
go.
tool that
Yeah.
has been thoroughly reprogrammed to do something else.
So
Uh.
the text response would tell you that that unless somebody is testing specifically for it, it's unlikely it will be noticed, but your material would be on record. So that is a risk that you can choose. But if it's on my behalf, I'll just take the box.
This is where this probably gets Van-Vee into more hot water than he realizes. But it's like, tell you what, you can have some of my blood to verify my identity, but then I want my blood back. You can't keep it.
It needed on file, I think, was the goal, right?
No.
She said it was to verify
We
identity.
only need to
man.
verify your identity.
Okay. Perfect.
So
You
when-
destroy
when-
the sample when we're done. That makes him happy.
That's fine too. Super suspicious.
Suspicious, but money talks. I see 10,000 credits first and link to exchange of light. Then we'll talk about thumbprint and blood.
I think when she says link, Van-Vee goes,
I'm sorry.
Quentin holds up the
Sorry,
comp
what?
pad and offers to boop it wherever she.
Okay. She holds out a boopable.
boopable.
Money's good. Okay. Who is taking which model?
Oh,
Well, I think I wanted the
give me that
box.
big gorilla-looking thing.
Oh, okay.
She's checking your identities and she looks at both of you studiously and then holds out like a thumb card and a place to blot blood onto.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Done and done again.
Wait 5 minutes. My son will check. And she whistles and someone walks over and says, Grandmother N, what is it? And she says, 2 foreigners, outsiders, want their models. Run this in the database, make sure it matches up with what they say. He goes, yes, of course, Grandmother. We'll be done, N.
Van-Vee's trying so hard not to cluck to see what people do.
You don't look good.
Your inner Cosmo's coming out.
It is.
I mean, she's just staring at you, Quentin. Says you need to sleep.
But do you have something that can help him sleep?
She holds up your own picture of yourself taken years ago when you first exchange of light registered and says, "This man, he looked better than you."
Felt better too. You heard about Lita? No, that's where I'm from.
I don't know what Alita is.
Oh, that's fair. My home.
Hmm.
A whole lot of people died.
Yeah. I don't mean to sound cruel, but when you get to my age, you've seen a whole lot of people die. Get over it.
Well, hold on now. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, man, but our captain's been through a lot of stress lately because a nuclear weapon was used on his home planet. I feel like that situation is a little different than perhaps what you were referring to.
Oh, my
no
people
brains,
were
lazy.
Yeah. Well, that's depending on how you look at it, they were all brain.
No.
I'm clucking at this lady when we leave.
He's laughing, but it's like crying too. He's not actually tears, but it's just like he agrees with her to a degree because he literally fought that, like flashbacks to conversations, with his father and family. Saying things like, if we don't engage more with this sector, it's going to consume us someday. Things like that. Like
she speaks in Hindi, so you don't understand it, but our diplomat does. And she tells someone to bring the Namshub.
I think I messaged that to Minerva and said, "What the hell's a manshub?"
It is not a word in Hindi.
Is it another language Van-Vee might know?
Do you speak ancient Sumerian?
That is highly unlikely.
Yeah, you have no idea what it means.
Could I make a no roll to see if I do know that? I feel like it's not.
Yep.
Okay.
It is
because it's an old one.
So the thing is, this is drug slang. So I will take wisdom no.
Worth a try.
You know that it is a old drug. Don't know what it does. But it's like if I referred to marijuana as like the weed or the reefer. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like if I was talking in the 70s instead of, using modern day terms.
I'll send a message to Van-Vee. I don't know which drug specifically, but it is an old term for a drug.
All right. Well, my accent's coming through text, I guess. Is it, can you tell if it's safe?
I'm unfamiliar with what the modern name of it would be.
Well, all right. I guess we'll play it by ear depending what it looks like when it shows up. And I think I'll just tell Captain Mandate. I think there's a drug just for you coming your way, Cap.
Something between the color of mint and like green tea leaf comes to you. It's in the shape of a pill, but it's not like in a capsule. It's basically like a tiny green turd being held. It is staining the kind of dark napkin that it's brought to you on. And she takes it from the young boy who brings it to her and holds it up to you. Now, I'm assuming you're back up on the capybara, and she is not very tall, so she is like holding it quite high. And she says, "Take this. I give it to you for free. You'll feel better.
And what's it do?
It makes you
He
feel
reaches
better.
down. He does grab it. It's gonna knock me out.
No, makes you feel good.
Maybe I'll wait till I get back to the ship.
No, take now.
I mean, I
You're
don't
my
suppose
customer.
you'd be.
You are
That's what he was
buying
about to
something
say. He
from
was
me right
literally
now.
about
You
to
think
say
I am
that.
trying to mess with you? No, you have already paid me.
That's what he was. Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, in Van-Vee's head, he was like, "Should I offer to take it first? No, this doesn't make sense. This isn't prison. This makes no sense."
This
He
is in
just pops in
prison.
his mouth. He smears it in. This isn't prison.
We watch as your eyes, like just the taste of it before you even swallow, your eyes go bonkers wide from like the fumes going into the back of your mouth.
We used to joke about a friend in college who, when he did a shot, would go through every human emotion over the course of 5 seconds.
Oh my god!
We will find out what happens to you when we come back in the second half.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I think this may be the first time in any of my shows that I've had a fuck YouTube break for taking drugs. We're back in about 5 minutes, guys. Use drugs responsibly and legally prescribed, I guess. Well, I will tell a story then about the top mangaka, which is a person who writes manga, so basically an author in Japan right now, whose name is Aka Akasaka. He's 34 years old, and he wrote the completely incredible Kaguya-sama Love is War, which got a very good but not terribly faithful dub. Because just to be clear, the voice acting in the dub is all excellent, but the narrator in the English version is like insane, and the narrator in the Japanese version, the original, is just like a dude who speaks very stoically and occasionally with volume, and the one in the English version is like, "Yo, what's up, kids? It's me, Gen Z. Woo! Let's pop off." And I'm like, "Ooh, this really changes the tone between the two." So anyway, what's not important right now is Kaguya-sama, but because that's over, they have this new work called Oshi no Ko, which is a slightly romantic comedy, slightly supernatural horror series looking at the very real Japanese like media and idol industry, film. Whole episodes are basically just delving into deep dives about like the dark side of all of these things and like how production companies work and like how products get sold. You know, like who gets paid when an anime gets made? Like, how do you make money from a music video, essentially? They just announced that Oshi no Ko will not be back until September 14th. It's going to be off for like the next 6 weeks. And someone was like, you know, he did this for Kaguya-sama, and I'm just going to say it right now. The new Apex season starts on September 8th because it is well known that Aka Akasaka is a insanely cracked Apex Legends player who every time a new season starts drops everything, trains for a month, and puts their series on hold just so that they can go absolutely apeshit Grandmaster style in the first week of a new season. Just line it up, boy. You really have to appreciate someone who's at the actual top of their game, like the best in the world at making manga, who's just willing to make time for themselves to play their hobby.
There's a
good life lesson.
There's a quarterback in the NFL where people have made charts that show how great his performance is until the next Modern Warfare releases, and it plummets. Like it is amazing how bad he gets
That's
when
beautiful.
that release comes out, and it's like he just doesn't sleep, he doesn't study, he doesn't do anything.
Incredible. All right. Let's talk about this drug. I had to turn on the drug use tag on Twitch for this one. You go from depression maybe a little self-loathing, maybe finding your place in the universe. Wherever you're at right now that's bringing you down, you are perfectly calm and relaxed. Everything around you appears to be moving faster until you come to the conclusion that your reaction speed is slower. Your brain is no longer keeping up with what's happening around you. You're just
interesting.
Calm.
This is sort of like
all
Quentin
your muscles
being...
are loose. You're loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Everything's going kind of slow. But here's the thing. You have access to a level of precision that you've never had before. Like, if you were like, you know what? I want to do that thing where I roll a quarter between my fingers. With no knowledge of how to do that, you could sit down and do that right now. Just be like, whoa, I know Kung Fu.
That's interesting.
You have a physical dexterity and precision. Hook, anything that involves like hand-eye coordination is off the charts right now. But like people around you are talking super fast.
That's what I was going to say is that it's very reminiscent to him of when he was watching Minerva converse with herself in her environment. Later than he was capable of processing. Maybe he's like absentmindedly like twirling a tiny like a couple like specks of dust, because you said like his the granularity of his control is so fine. It's just maybe he's the only one who could notice it, but he's just twirling a few of them, just like literal specks.
What was it whenever it was good at? The fire sticks?
Trying to keep up with conversation.
Yeah. Somehow you find fire sticks, you're also really good at them too.
Yeah, idly staring off into space a little bit, sort of experiencing the chaos around him a little bit more, maybe. I don't know, even more chaotic.
I mean, the chaos just moves through you, man. You're totally relaxed. Yeah. Like you actually have no sense of fear, and your body is physically incapable of producing adrenaline right now.
Oh,
like if you were shot right now, you'd just be like, wow,
yeah, interesting.
That kind of hurt.
Whoa.
Why
are you trying to harsh my gig?
Probably drooping, like at that point, like the moment that really hits completely 100%, his eyes probably do start to droop.
Okay, you take 2 points of system strain.
Okay.
This drug is incredibly taxing on your... I believe it's one of the most taxing drugs on someone's system
nice.
that this system has.
2 points of strain.
She turns to you, Van-Vee, and she says, "Got back the information from my son. You check out." She holds up your 2 cards and throws them into a nearby fire barrel.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have an accord.
Where do you want your chassis delivered?
Well, our ship's not too far from here. I mean,
the ship that landed. Yes, that makes sense. We will bring it out immediately.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
Anything else we can do for you while we're here, or anything we should check out? You know, we're just kind of visiting.
You want to make dinner for me?
I mean, are you asking? You telling me to?
You asked me what you could do for me.
Good.
I'm telling you what you could do for me.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If you and maybe 1 or 2 others want to come back to our ship, maybe the folks who are doing the delivery, well, you know what? We'll make some dinner for you. In fact, I was going to pick up some fresh fruit on the way back anyways, because we've been eating out of packaged meals for a bit. Be nice to have something nice based off your what you guys got here locally.
You a good cook?
Me? No, but there's someone else on our ship who is.
Okay. She hops on the back of the capybara. There's just a lot of space here. Saddle's not meant for 3 people. It's not really meant for 2 people. Louis got a little bit more weight than he's used to. Yeah, she's just like, okay, go.
Oh, you meant like right now? Oh, okay, yeah.
You said I'm coming back for dinner.
Sure. Yeah. What time is it? Okay, let's go.
You're on a ship. Dinner is whenever you say it is.
I think as
you
we're
don't
going
live
back,
under our sun.
Van-Vee's gonna try to. He's gonna pick up a bunch of fresh fruit and like stuff to make a nice dinner with, knowing that he won't be the one making it.
I think she gets in there, helicopters you, and is just like, no, not right, not good.
Wrong.
Get this one. That has rocks in it. No, bad.
Wait, rocks? Why are you guys selling food with it? Never mind. I don't want to know.
Cheap food, not good for you. You go over here, okay?
You point out the nice food.
Yeah,
Right?
of course. I'm taking you to what my grandson runs. Okay, you go to this stall over here. A little bit more expensive, twice quality.
All right. I like quality.
I guess Minerva will be sending some Waldos to the kitchen to prepare with machine-like precision.
I'm totally like I'm open air broadcasting all of this, so you're hearing it all.
Yeah.
By the time you get back to the ship, you're loaded down with a ton of local fruit and vegetables, a lot of chickpeas. You're pretty sure you don't know what you're gonna do with a 42-pound sack of chickpeas. Tons of spices. She was like, you know what this is? And you're like, no. She's like, good, we're getting it for you.
Well, if I don't know how
she does that dozens of times.
I feel like every time Vandy's like, well, if I don't know what it is, how do I know when to use it? And then she's probably like, well, you said you don't know how to cook anyways. I'm like, you're right, it doesn't matter. Add it to the Sharpie card.
Quentin, you come out of it by the time you get back to the ship. Like as the elevator is bringing you up, you're coming off of it.
Is this a hard thing? Like, is this hits like a truck or?
I mean, the real problem is that your fear center and your adrenaline kicks back in, but it's slow. It's like you're slowly returning to being afraid for the people again.
Yeah, a weird sense of creeping dread.
You know how afraid you're going to end up being, which is probably the real scariest part.
Yeah, okay.
The anticipation that you're going to return to the
staring
state
down
you
a tunnel,
were in.
Seeing the opposite of light.
I feel like when you guys come up the ramp, you're greeted by, welcome to the LAS Golden Goose.
Grandmother Anne is completely unimpressed by your display of TL4 ships and robotics. She just says, your granddaughter will be here soon with your deliveries. But is this ship robot? You have virtual intelligence?
I am the ship automated assistant.
Okay, she taps her stick on like the wall of the ship and goes, you feel that?
No.
Okay, not good. Not good.
Not good.
What do you mean? What do you mean not good?
Yeah,
Not
could
enough
be better.
integration.
You want the ship to feel pain?
She hits you with the stick.
Ow. All right, you know what? I'm thinking maybe
You know you've just been hit by a stick?
Well, yeah.
What do you think pain is? It
You
is a
hit me with the
response to
stick.
something externally happening. If you don't know that something is happening, you have less knowledge. Think. And she taps you on the head with the staff. She says, you never think. You don't think. I have conversation with you many times today. You don't think.
All right, you know what?
One is giving me strong Yoda vibes.
I'm gonna go get someone who does a lot of thinking for us, and I'm gonna go get Iono and Fish and introduce them to this woman and be like, I need you to stop hitting me with sticks and tell me I'm wrong about everything.
All right. I'm going to tell you what actually happens. You try to go find Iono and Dr. Iono and Dr. Fish to protect yourself from this woman. And what actually happens is your stepmother walks in and charm offenses her immediately. And
I forgot she was there.
That's, you know, my stepson, he's a very smart boy. You know, I raised him terribly well, I have to say. Headstrong, independent, but, you know, he's got a lot of material skills. He's a mechanic and an engineer. And you know, the two of them are like looking at each other, sizing each other up, and then they just silently begin walking into the kitchen together and start talking about what they're going to make for dinner.
Oh my
Your
God,
stepmother
that's so
doesn't get
funny.
hit with the stick once.
That sounds about right. I'm not. I totally
Well
forgot
played.
Sophie was there.
Yeah,
Well played.
well,
really
she
funny.
also has a really high charisma score. So,
Fair
Perfect.
enough.
Oh, too
Minerva,
funny.
you get a what is the Vespa version of 4 Vespas and a pickup bed in the center of them. The Vespas are essentially acting as double wheels.
Yeah.
God.
Inside is a box and a sledge. They're backing it onto where the elevator should they're honking and waiting for the elevator to come down so they can look the 2 models onto here.
I'll lower it.
Okay. 2 young women get on as well. They're using like little anti-grav pads that they attach to the bottom of the units to like lift them out, put them down, and then take the pads off from into the back of the a pickup Vespa, and then ride on up. And they're just doing like, they get up, they go, Grandmother N is already here. Good, excellent. But they're saying it in Hindi, so you have no idea what they're saying. But they just, on the loading bay of the elevator in the direct center of the ship, they just leave your 2 new processor units here, your armatures.
Okay.
Minerva, do you want me to put these anywhere for you to get acclimated, or just leave them like this for now?
If you could activate them and make a show of making an effort to do some programming, I'll assume control of the units.
Sure,
Okay,
that sounds good. Maybe I'll save some face with grandmother here.
I don't think that's likely.
Let's
But I
keep
will
your
say-
negativity to yourself.
That's brutal, Minerva.
Well, she didn't think that you were worth talking to, you wouldn't be getting the insults.
Or she likes me that much. It's like, when kids are growing up and they, you like someone, you push them in the same box. It's exactly what's happening.
There you
think
go,
this-
Van-Vee. She
you-
thinks you're cute.
For the
You think
kids
this
at
old
home,
woman is
he's
pulling your
just
pigtails?
Yeah, he's just described sundares, by the way. So
Maybe we'll just start going at the, I guess, the box first.
I mean, look, you're an expert mechanic. You get this thing working in a few minutes. It's old tech, but reliable. It does not take long. It's ready to go. You just got to open the data port so that the VI can be remotely loaded.
I will do so.
I do want to sweep it for any pre-existing programming.
Nope, it's completely empty.
Okay. I will fill an empty vessel.
You suddenly have claws scratching at the back of your back. If I see the box move, I'll be like, oh, welcome back.
Just sort of. It is a different sensation.
Well, I imagine this one will be different too, gesturing to Sledge. Say, how is it switching back and forth, by the way? Have you ever done that before?
I have been in different armatures before. I've also been in different ships before. I don't know if there is a way for me to explain it to you that has a biological analog.
Kind of like when you're a speck of dust living in someone else's body, and then those 2 bodies join together, something like that.
You do have a good point. You do have a unique perspective.
Well, all right. We agree.
You're on the right groove.
Hey,
Minerva.
without invading their privacy, what's going on in the kitchen?
Kitchen is a public space. There's cooking going on in conversation.
All right. So everyone seems happy. That's all I care about.
Now, the conversation seems to be amicable, but I'm not very good at subtext.
All right. I'll, Cap, you okay I'm assuming we have some sort of like, I don't know if we have wine per se, but some sort of liquor or something on the ship that, mind if I open a couple of those?
Break out whatever you
feeling
need,
good?
Van-Vee. Break out whatever you need. No worries. We're on planet. We can get some more supplies if we need it.
think I'll open a few bottles of who knows whatever we have. Start bringing them in, pouring glasses to just keep everyone's light mood.
3173, a good year. Almost as old as I am.
I would send a prompt of some kind to a terminal for Dr. Fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Dr.
basically
Fish is in the kitchen.
Okay. Well, it'll be waiting for Dr. Fish.
Okay.
But it's basically like it's like this is your first time logging to Windows. Please enter your account information and then, personalize your settings for the shipboard automated assistant program.
Okay. Dinner, there's not enough space in your combination kitchen / meeting room to hold all of the people at this dinner. So it ends up just taking place in the hallway that runs the length of the ship. And it's just like a bunch of different small dishes that you take like some of it, you put it on your plate and you pass. It's like eating tapas, essentially.
Buffet style tapas.
Everything is crazily spiced, both in terms of each dish is unique in its terms of heat and also like seasoning. Certainly the seasonings are much stronger than anything you all are used to. As people who have a robot prepare their food regularly.
How much salt is too much salt?
The sodium levels have been calculated based on your nutritional guidelines.
We don't do anything for flavor. Flavor is unnecessary.
Any deviations have been things that you guys have asked for because there is no culinary creativity.
Wow, that speaks very sadly to the state of your sentience, I think.
It's just not this. Especially without the synth, there's not really a way to try to experience and understand that.
All I wanted, Minerva, was barbecue sauce.
I found 3,211 different barbecue sauce compositions.
Oh my goodness. I imagine Van-Vee probably doesn't deal too well with the spice, and I feel like it's just something else for Grandma to get on his case about.
No, I think she specifically starts directing you towards less spicy dishes.
Nice.
Listen,
I will take that advice.
Making fun of you for being not thinking through what you're saying is one thing. You can't control your gastronomy, so she gets you like cabbage-based dishes, a lot of chickpea paste.
There we go.
Hummus with as little tahini as possible.
Quentin is very much so in glutton for punishment stage for sure. So he's going in for as spicy as he gets.
We're going in
As much
opposite
tahini
directions.
as one can put in a hummus, and it's still hummus. Yeah, look, if you're looking to burn your mouth, you're definitely gonna get it here. It's not like ghost pepper or anything, but
Right.
the seasonings are wild here. Yeah, unless there's anything you all want to accomplish, it's basically just like a nice meal with a bunch of people who you haven't either seen for a while or have never met before.
Quentin would maybe use it to occasionally ask a question about the like Civil Protective Services, which I think that's what the name of the organization is.
Something along those lines.
And like the organization and how they feel about like visitors or medical like services for other people, off planet, or like helping other people off planet, that kind of thing.
So the two young women who have come with Grandmother N look like they have something they want to say, but defer to her to comment on this. And Grandmother N is just like, people who have something want to keep others from also having this. This is stupid. It's a bad idea. These are bad people. The Supreme Master has allowed the Enki technocracy to set up here. We exist under the aegis of his protection. He is a shield for us. These people are a shield for themselves.
You know, ma'am, I like you more and more over time. I tend to agree with you. There's folks out there who need help. They deserve it.
You trying to sweet talk me?
I wouldn't dare. You seem sweet enough already.
You want to marry one of my granddaughters?
Oh, man. I don't know if I'm anywhere near that line of thought right now, but
Van-Vee whispers very quietly into like his open comm to Minerva. If it gets us another trip, maybe you should do it.
She says, Ambassador, Starship Captain, good job. Solid pay, I think. Too bad.
I do all right. Well,
we don't like the people who try to keep others away from here.
Okay.
Our way of life, many people living together in a community. Many people.
Yeah, that's important.
Things get stretched thin, but everyone has something. Those who have hands to work, work. Those who need to be taken care of are taken care of. This is the right way to do things. This is the way people who are thinking do things. These people who go up in space, who still have the capacity to go into space, to keep others from coming here, not thinking.
You are wise. Absolutely. I wish more people thought like you. He cheers his, holds his glass out.
He'll cheers you.
We're trying to change some of that. We are trying to get something set up to make it easier for folks to at least get medical care down here.
Medical care is important. The drug we gave you, we make using river water and local plants. No fancy technology, no drug synthesizing. Local chemists. Good technology to better people, I think.
Good idea. Well, if you're amenable, I'm certainly will keep you in mind and look you up. We have an organization we're trying to put together. Further those exact goals. It's called the Order of the Golden Goose. And I think you've got just the right attitude.
It is run by Ania Wizem.
Yeah, exactly.
You shout a lot.
Well, that's her style. But I think we're open to lots of styles if you got your own. A lot of folks who need help. Any help you're willing to offer, we'll take. But,
I will give you frequency for our local communicator for this city.
Perfect.
If you need to get a hold of me, just ask for one of the N.
Appreciate it. Mind if I pass that over to Ania, just in case she runs into an emergency or two? All right. Excellent. Well, I appreciate you.
We will do the dishes before we leave.
You are a gracious and fantastic individual.
She and her granddaughters just start collecting everybody's meals right in front of them. Like, if you haven't finished, you have finished.
It's over. It's too late.
And then she begins taking all the food and dividing it into like little
Doggy bags.
Baggies. Yeah, so you guys can have tapas later.
Nice.
And then they just unceremoniously leave. She leaves her stick, however. Just leaves it on the dinner table.
Quentin might pick it up if nobody else does and keep it, but
do you think she left that on purpose, Kat? Like, should one of us go return it back to her? Is this like a test? I feel like I failed all of her tests so far.
Quentin holds it out to him and says, I don't know, Van-Vee, what do you think you should do?
Just for kicks, Van-Vee's going to try to reach out to it with the link.
You reach out to it with the link. You hold your hand out instinctively, and your stepmother looks at you like you're a real fucking weirdo. You feel nothing. And to make it look like you aren't just being weird, that you're just absent-mindedly, you close your hand on the stick. So it doesn't look like you were just trying to use the force on it. She just shrugs and shakes her head a little bit.
Mm.
Well,
It's extra funny because Quentin's the telekinetic. He was holding it out.
That is funny. You gently pushed it towards me.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I don't know protocol here. Does that mean this is like a gift for us, or do you think she actually forgot it? What do you guys think?
Sophie says, I think she left it behind. You
All
don't
right.
just leave a stick on a table by accident.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's just I remember the stick has hit me, so I don't know. All right, I'll just put it back on the table then. I guess Mom, you got a minute? There's some stuff I wanted to talk to you about after.
Yeah, actually, I was hoping to talk to Quentin after dinner.
Mom? All right, fine.
Vandorn, we can speak in a few minutes. I just thought it would be charitable to talk to your captain about ongoing events.
Sure, man.
Okay.
I got some time.
If this can't wait,
No, of course it can wait.
Quentin, she goes to go arm in arm with you towards the cargo bay to her pod.
Sure. Yeah.
Or a large glass of whatever we're drinking.
Okay. She just sits down with you and, says, Captain, look tired. Is everything going okay?
Feel more than
I know
tired.
that things probably are very complicated for you right now, but I wanted to show my appreciation for the delicacy with which you've handled issues surrounding my family.
Yeah. Am I okay? Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I think I'm not, but
If
we'll
you need
keep
to
putting
take
one foot in front of the other.
a retreat, Fostro 1 is a completely private facility.
Well, I don't think I have the luxury of retreating right now. I think right now I've got to keep moving, but I do appreciate the offer. Absolutely.
Have you ever considered... I feel like I'm about to cross the line here, so I just want to make it clear that this isn't a political offer. It just, for me, it seems like common sense. The Midapile is a modern world with access to modern transportation, nuclear snuffers, a defense fleet. Have you ever considered moving your psionic population to Midapile and asking for a sort of refugee status? You could get all of the benefits of living in a modern technological society with a democratic representative government. You probably won't get an offer like this from anywhere else. And again, I don't speak for the government, but I know a lot of people in the government, and I could certainly fast track any application for this activity. Talk to the right people. I don't want to force you to doing this, but it just occurs to me that I don't know if you've ever considered it or if anyone's talked to you about it. It seems like I don't know where you've been since Lita. I think this is the first place, and it seems like things are moving very quickly.
They are. By way of reply, though, he picks up his compad and starts tapping some buttons, scrolls through a couple things, and shows her a file with essentially like a draft message to Midapile addressed to the princess, but he doesn't know exactly who it should be addressed to. But it is essentially a draft message detailing his, I don't know, shoot broad strokes, like the idea that he can't specifically speak for the government of Lita or the Psionic Academy at this stage. He doesn't know what that looks like yet, what that is, what that even means. He does know that he thinks that Lita and Midapile are natural allies, both being small populations with strong cultures of their own, and partnering with the Royal Academy in some fashion to help rebuild the Psionic Academy as something that he thinks as a potential avenue, and a way to ally between the two of them directly. Something like that is spelled out. What he then goes on to say, something along the lines of that he can speak directly for the Order of the Golden Goose, and talks about his plans there and wanting to not sort of be a burden on anyone in Midapile and sort of be a drain on any resources. Outlines something similar to like a Newman's Own brand situation where he wants to create like a trade sort of organization where essentially reinvest the profits into helping people, essentially, but to expand, like Midapile's markets for goods and make them a main trade partner for the Golden Order of the Golden Goose in that way, hoping that maybe they can provide some subsidized free merchant hulls to kickstart that type of operation. Thinking along the lines of that they may be decommissioning some of their existing mining ships that are no longer fit to their new needs with their new technology in their suits, something like that. So it's a kind of long letter. He goes, lots of stuff, but
she's looking this over and she says, this is going to take a lot more discussion with government officials, but y'all actually knows a distant family relation of the prime minister. So if we can get a hold of him back on planet, I'm sure he can move this along to the people who need it. That said, if you are looking for those ships as a private corporation, Bostro Construction is starting to phase out those ships. I've never heard of this Order of the Golden Goose, but it appears to be a charitable organization. It's based on Midapile.
That was the goal. It is.
Registered. I would need to look through your paperwork to make sure that this would work, but I could certainly see myself alleviating tax burden by donating ships to your organization.
It's so much more than I could have hoped or expected from you. I don't know what to say.
Well, again, we'd need to be in system for me to look at the paperwork of the Order of the Golden Goose.
Of course.
It looks like a Dr. Leslie. Didn't I just meet her earlier?
Yeah, she's on board. She's one of the crew. She's fantastic, honestly. Incredibly smart woman.
I'll need to sit down and talk to her about exactly what action committee she is signed up for.
We're still pretty fresh at this, but honestly, any help you could give us getting this off the ground would be beyond appreciated. Anything that we can do in this realm is going to help Lita tenfold.
So are we on our way back to Midapile? I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'll be honest, I didn't want to push it with my son since he's been very cagey. I came when he asked, but he hasn't told me why I'm here. I didn't realize you needed VI chassis.
I feel like I'm going to leave all that to Van-Vee to explain a little bit. There's plenty that's happened, and I have a feeling you have plenty on your side that needs to be passed along.
Well, my husband is being detained by a federal judge, so but and he's desperate to get off world and won't tell me why, but my son is desperate to meet with him but won't tell me why. But I've learned through a long history of dealing with the edge of politics, and in particular my husband's weirdness, that usually the men in my family have their hearts in the right place. It just might take a while to figure out what the hell they're saying because they just don't communicate well.
I can assure you that that is the case this time as well. At the very least. With that, I really think you should talk to Van-Vee, and happily I will clarify anything else you need from me after that.
I do have one more thing to talk to you about.
Yes,
what
ma'am.
are your intentions regarding my other son? He has redoubled his efforts in school, which I would certainly never be upset about. But he's also insisting on a pre-med program. And he has finished a CPR qualification and is trying to do ride-alongs with ambulances. And I want to let him choose his own career path, but I feel like he could definitely do more than just be a paramedic, to be honest.
You know, ma'am, I think with the opportunities you can afford him, there's a lot that he can do, of course.
You have a medical doctor on board the ship as well.
Indeed. Yeah. In terms of our intentions with him, honestly, he's got a bit of hero worship going on with Van-Vee, and Van-Vee really just wanted to include him, make him feel like he was part of his adventures out here, I think, to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
I just want to make sure that you are not stringing him along with promises that you don't intend to keep.
He's got a long way to go before he's out the nest, as far as I know. So there's definitely some time between now and that being a problem to worry about. But I promise you, we are not trying to set him up for any kind of disappointment on our end. If there's a spot we have for him and he is ready for and wants it, then absolutely, he's got it.
Okay. I have your word on this?
Of course.
All right. All right, I have to go talk to my other son.
You're a busy woman. And they're lucky kids.
She gestures to her pod and says, well, it's your ship, but this is my pod. Stay as long as you like if you need a moment of privacy.
Move.
Oh, man.
She just gets up and leaves, and camera follows over the shoulder for her as she goes and finds a sulking Van-Vee. And sits
Staring
down
at the bottom of his glass
smoothly across from you and says, you need a refill?
You know, I think I do, and I think you're gonna need one too.
Okay. Pours 2 glasses at 31.73.
You know, I'd really prefer if we had this conversation somewhere not open that others could listen. I don't know how much you know or don't know, and so I don't know how much is going to be a reveal for you, Mom.
Okay. I don't know what you think I do and don't know, but are your or my quarters sufficient?
Of course.
Okay. I would normally say my pod, but I left your captain in there, so.
Quentin's in your pod?
Yeah, I mean, it's the size of a roll-on, roll-off cargo container. It's like 40 feet long. Plenty of space for him.
All right. Well, I guess if he's in your pod, we'll
I
go
have
to my
quarters on this ship. There's a 6th quarters that has been temporarily assigned to me.
All right. Yeah, let's go there.
Okay.
I mean, Van-Vee's probably just picturing his room as a disaster, and that's all he needs. And be like,
she gives you a knowing look, knowing that this is exactly why you don't want to go to your quarters. So instead, you go into a room with like hospital corners bed and like no personality to it, just completely stripped bare walls, no clothes or anything. Just she sits down on one of the chairs and says, "Okay, what do you think we need to talk about?"
Goodness, how much has y'all told you about where? Oh, I guess about himself, where he comes from.
Our last conversation in person, I told you looking out into space, standing beside you, privately away from your father, I told you everything I know about both of you, and where your birth mother,
Okay.
could be.
Okay.
It sounds like when you went out there, you learned more.
Yeah.
I can see that this is very emotional for you. Do you think that you need or have to tell me?
I think that you deserve to know.
Well, those words, I don't like them because that sounds bad.
I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's it's something I never considered. You know, we've traveled we've traveled a lot. All right, so you know Ferry, right?
Do you mean the ship? Yes.
Yeah, so we met Ferry, and I learned a little bit about myself that there's really no way of saying this, but I am dust. Have you heard of dust? You know what dust is? Okay,
No,
all
you
right.
look human to me.
So, and Van-Vee's like trying to figure out where does he start with this story. And so he's like, all right. Just bear with me for a second. We when we were on ferry, we went into some I don't know, some chamber that kind of separated my thoughts from my body, and realized that it wasn't just in this chamber that was like that. It's always been like that, but my body was always like a captive. And I've kind of merged the two, so to speak. But I mean, this is just kind of like the beginning where y'all and I come from. I mean, it's beyond, I guess, 0601, which I think you hinted at. You may have known this, but we're not like everyone else. We're a little different. We're what you consider dust. We have this gland that it's like a link where we can talk to certain things others can't. And he, at this point, he's just like spewing information rapid fire. And the weirdest thing is, I think we're clones. I think y'all and I are basically the same thing. And Zach, we're the same. Like we found a ship that ID'd me, and it said, I don't know, 600 years old. It called me y'all. I had access to this parts of the ship that no one else had. And I guess all this, I know I'm throwing a lot at you here, but all this, the last message I received from y'all said, whatever you do, don't come back to Midipile. And so I'm a little worried about him right now. I'll finally take a breath.
When your younger brother was about 4 years old, he changed a little bit. Now, of course, kids are always growing up, but he got more mature fairly quickly, and there was something a little bit different about him. And all I can remember is that that's about the time when your father started to get a little bit angrier. He started to lose control of his emotions a little bit. I'm not certain I understand everything you're saying, but do you think that this is related?
At this point, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, Frank, we're not entirely. And I say we, like me, I mean Zach, y'all, and I. We're not like normal humans. We're a little different with this whole dust thing. And I don't I think that means we can't really apply aging normally to us like you can a normal human. I mean, who knows how old y'all really is, and what is the difference between me and y'all? I have more questions than answers at this point, but I feel like y'all has some of these answers. He told us or told me repeatedly not to go to the Zenatus system or the Admedes system because he knew as soon as we got there, I'd be scanned and discovered as a member of the Dust. I mean, he hasn't outright said that, but he knew I shouldn't go there. I went there anyways. And I learned so much, whether it was because of Fairy, whether it's because I got scanned. I mean, there's just a whole lot that was revealed to me about myself and about y'all.
While you have been talking, your mother is silently but openly weeping. And it becomes clear that she stopped listening to you at some point.
Then I stopped talking.
Okay.
I mean, has y'all mentioned anything of any of this? Anything like that? I mean, is this all brand new information?
She just quietly shakes her head no.
Well, I think I'll just want to give her a hug and say, I'm sorry, this is coming from me. I didn't know who knew what. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared for the rest of our family back on Midpile. I don't know who knows what and who's seen as a threat, but the perimeter agency and some of the others out there, they're scared of the Dust. And that's us. It's my number one priority right now is how do we reach y'all and Zach and heck, I don't even know. Is Allie? Gosh, I don't think Allie's. I don't know if Allie's Dust. How do we keep each other safe at this point? That's what I want to do, and that's what I wanted you guys to come here so I could talk to all of you. But when you said y'all got detained, I can't help but be nervous.
She goes to grab your hand and just squeeze it and hold it for a while.
I swear this is all real. I'm not making any of this up.
I don't think you're making it up. Your father and I have a lot to talk about.
He's probably going to be pissed. I told you a lot of this just to be.
Well, I guess his issues with honesty are his problem, not yours. I'm not afraid of you. I just want to be very clear about that. I've known you for most of your life, and you're saying you don't know how old your father is, who is also perhaps your clone. But even if he has been keeping this from me, I want to think that I'm a good enough judge of character to say that I think he's not trying to harm anyone either. But there's still a lot that he and I are going to have to talk about. But I want to be clear with you that I'm not afraid of you.
I think he probably just gives her another big hug at that point, especially because of how Yono was treating Van-Vee when she first figured out. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mom. You know, not a lie, it's been a scary journey for me to learning about myself, and it's oh shoot, I'm just glad you were able to meet here and I was able to tell you the truth and figure out next steps. Because I gotta admit, I don't know what to do, if I should go back to Midpile or not. It feels like it's the right thing to do, but it's also dangerous. But maybe y'all needs help. I don't know.
Well, I don't know whether you should go back or not. You're an adult, and that's your choice. But I do have to go back. That's my home. So just let me know if this ship isn't going back, and I will arrange for alternative transport.
Well, I think we have other business on Midpile as well. I guess the question is, do I go or do I stay here while the rest of the crew goes? And that's something I got to take up with.
Are you
with
afraid
Quentin
to face your father?
No, it's not. I'm not scared of him. I'm scared of whoever might be detaining him and use me as leverage against him.
Should I be worried?
I don't think so.
Is there any worried for Zach?
Can two people, if you have the link, can you link to each other? Like, can I try linking to see if she has a link?
She doesn't have a link.
Okay. Well, then never mind.
I mean, you've never done a person-to-person link, but you think
Right.
that's probably not how the system works. It doesn't make you a telepath.
Sure.
It's meant to, it's like a phone service for talking to machines. It's a modem for machines.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a complex telepath bypass
You know,
system.
I don't. I feel like when I was discovered by Fairy and then later discovered, discovered's not the right word. When we went to, God damn it, the Admeti system, a Midipile government ship stopped us to do the scanning, and they knew about me already. They already knew.
Is that Brett Carthage?
Yeah, how do you know him?
He's an officer that we sponsored. You sent me a message about him.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're right. Good. I'm glad I sent that message. I was
MINERVA
worried I didn't
also
send it.
sent me a message about him as well.
Oh, thank God for MINERVA. I forgot.
We sponsor several naval officers through the academy, through Vostro Construction's scholarship programs.
What? I gotta tell you,
Your father was very close with him.
He knew. He knew when he was scanning us not to scan me. So he knows. And if he knows, I don't know who else in the Midpile government knows.
Undermining the thing that you have in your head is the thing that they are looking for in the quarantine zone?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The dust is what they scan for in the quarantine zone. And that's what I am. That's what y'all is. I think that's what Zach is.
And your father just undermined national security.
Well, I mean, we're making assumptions here, but someone had to let them in. I mean, I don't know if he did or not. I mean, he told me to avoid that space, but yet I went there anyways. He's probably not going to be happy about that, but I went there anyways, and a Midipile government ship already knew. I don't know what else to do with that information.
Okay. She continues to sit quietly and cry while holding your hand.
I feel like I am not helping.
I have no comment on that.
And I'm not listening.
I
don't believe you.
I got a text. Give her another hug. Well, I don't.
Hold on. I don't want to break up the drama of this moment, but my immediate thought was from the song "Kiss the Girl." The stork that's like wow wow wow. I want to just imagine that MINERVA is that right now in the
man.
Hey, you gotta tell your mom.
We get it in a Jamaican accent.
Hey, you gotta tell your mom.
Man, too funny. I think that's probably close to the end of what Van-Vee feels like he's unloaded a lot to the point where he feels better because he finally got it off his chest, but he feels like he just dumped it on Sophie.
It's a legitimate way of looking at it.
So now he's probably done and just gonna kind of sit patiently holding her hand and just be like, try to answer any questions she may have, or if she gets up and leaves, he'll probably just like let her go without pressing any further.
This is a good place to stop narratively and also time-wise, but so many people have left goals incomplete.
Oh, I do have a quick thing to do.
Okay.
I would like to try to search whatever databanks I can get to from here.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
Looking
much only
for
local databanks because this planet is technology level 3, so you have access to local 1G wireless and solid state drives.
I will do, not expecting to find anything here, but I will do a cursory search for the captain's sister, Zoe, or for data regarding like any records that include her name.
You know, what's really interesting is that if you do that, Van-Vee will fail his goal. Yeah, go ahead. And is that the knowledge skill? I would think so, yes.
I will, in case there's anything to find, I will spend a processing point to automatically succeed at scouring databanks.
Okay. You connect into some passing ships and the space station, and maybe you even do as close to hacking without breaking any of the exchange of light laws on the exchange of light satellite. And you find out that, hold on, because they have it here.
Yeah, I'm not breaking any laws. No intention of it.
Zoe Polk is registered as a biopsionicist with the Fitzroy Project, located on the moon Suranir Priddy, above the planet Regrib in the Hald system.
Okay.
She is part of a research project in like a humanities division that is tracking long-term degradation of the human gene across the sector, and this is like she's the point of contact for this planet. The project is just called Excelsior, and it's like a non-governmental entity that is looking at each planet's individualized human genome choices in the aftermath of the Scream and lack of contact with each other, and how that has changed now that, you know, people be fucking from other planets together, and just want to make sure that, you know, they're not like, there has to be one master human race, but they want to make sure that it's okay for people across the sector to be banging and having kids, and that there's nothing wrong with any particular part, like system's human genome.
Just checking for any unforeseen consequences.
Yep. She is like a bureaucrat for Excelsior and part of the Fitzroy Project, which is again local to the Regrebe, planet Regrebe.
And I will also send a message to the captain stating that a request has been made to examine the contents of his messages to his sister in order to effect an attempt to locate her and ascertain her safety. Asking permission.
He gives it. You know, he has some rough idea of what she's been up to, you know, overall, but like certainly doesn't know exactly where she is or what her current status is by any means. So he certainly is interested in that. On that note, he did have.
I was gonna say, unlike a human, you read the alphanumeric message tag codes of like, this ship was in this system and carried the message here, where it was offloaded to a satellite and sent to this system. Right. You just analyze it, you're like, okay, yeah, this all checks out. She's at Fitzroy Project on Regrebe.
Okay. I'll put together a copy of that information and put it in Van-Vee's inbox, and I will CC the captain.
Now we're going to end the episode.
See, it was quick.
Tears welling up in Quentin's eyes as he gets confirmation that she is still likely alive.
Whoa.
Likely.
Just so anyone can die at any time, but there's no reason to think that she was on world.
What a positive outlook.
Yeah, so you fail your crew goal. Minerva, you fail your individual goal, but incidentally, I think that you succeed at your long-term goal, or I shouldn't say succeed. You work towards it, so take 1 XP. Okay. Van-Vee made no attempt to locate Zoe. But you did, I'm gonna say that this is part of Find Your Mother, so go ahead and take 1 point. You'd have to make a case for me to give you any XP. Ludemann.
Talking to Sophie about his plans for the Order of the Golden Goose to generate essentially aid,
all right,
money for.
Right. I'll give it 1 XP.
If we had found time, I did plan to talk to Minerva about that as well and use her connections to get to the Prime Minister. Yada. Didn't get there.
Ooh, that'll be a conversation.
I'm not sure you want to use Minerva's connection to get to the Prime Minister.
But... Maybe that's the wrong play. She is.
The thing about having a foot in the door, though, is that it is a foot in the door.
Hopefully it's just not allowed to.
Felt like a fast episode, although I can't say a lot happened. There were a lot of revelations, perhaps. Expository, but mostly for things we all already knew and we're just telling other characters.
No, I feel like it cracks open the next big problems that we have, though, which is Midipile for sure, and what we do with it, what Sophie decides ultimately, and with all of this knowledge.
We had a great dinner with grandmother.
Yeah, that was a fun character. I like that.
Your mother's life, yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's a low extreme, but okay.
You told her husband had been lying.
I mean, it was a heartbreaking thing, to hear 100%, right? Like
you shattered her views of her own family,
and you told her that both her stepson and her actual son may have some sort of biomechanical disease that most governments are aware of and are trying to eliminate, meaning that you are equally a threat to the family and a problem that must be evacuated from her home as soon as possible to hide the two of you.
Yet she said, I'm not a threat. She's not scared.
Yeah. She's not scared of you. She's scared for you.
That's okay. She deserved to know what mother doesn't.
See,
I'm sure this won't come back to bite you in the ass.
No. Now I'm literally dividing the family.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's going to take a pistol to me when he sees me.
We hit like half of my list of things that I was interested in trying to do this for this a game.
Was drugs one of them?
No, it was not. That was definitely unpredicted. So, but that's pretty good for me. Like I'm normally hitting like barely 25%.
Your dare officer is disappointed in you.
Yeah. That they're daring you to do it. That was always the truth.
I don't know if you've seen the VOT Plus ads for the boys on YouTube, but they have one about Soldier Boy doing a 90s style Don't Do Drugs campaign.
Oh, I did see that.
And if you watch the boys, you know that basically all of the heroes are actually villains and that they get their superpowers from drugs. And so when he says, and remember kids, real heroes don't do drugs, I'm always like, oh my god, the subtext is so good on that.
Yeah, it's extra because he's one of the few who actually like knows that that's where it comes from too in that storyline. Most of them don't have any idea.
I do need to go back at some point and try to construct passage of time since the destruction of the synth.
Mm.
Because I need to figure out when we can divide my core again.
Oh,
What's
I
the
think
amount
it's
of
been
time
enough
that
time, right?
passes?
It's 30 days, right?
It's 30 days.
Not
Yeah,
enough
regrow.
time has
And,
passed.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's
thought it
been
went-
2 weeks plus 4 days plus another day.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You need another week and a half.
That's fair.
Your core's itchy. It's still regrowing.
Yeah.
Getting flaky.
What a disturbing sentiment. Not to rush us out the door. I just want to mark it down for my schedule. We're good for next week?
Next
I
week
am.
should be good.
I certainly wouldn't want us to have post-episode discussions, since this one was almost as spicy as the food you had to eat.
I do want Indian tomorrow now, though.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I think I'm also just gonna go make some fucking hummus tomorrow and
I love to sweat.
get some.
All
Oh
about
wait,
spicy food.
there's a tiki masala food truck coming to my neighborhood tomorrow, so maybe I'll just go grab
Nice.
There you
some
go.
of that and throw
Hell
some
yeah.
za'atar on something.
The dinner thing was a nice diversion from our constant suffering.
Yeah, so here's the
Yeah,
thing.
we got to actually have an interesting moment.
When I started
With
this
some
show,
characters.
I thought there would be a lot more scenes of you all in Spike Space, like watching media and like
Same,
talking
yeah.
about the differences between planets. But you mostly spend all your time on the ship talking to as few people as possible and learning as little information as possible, pursuing your own goals at lightning speed. So it was
And
nice
even
to
then,
slow
not
down and get
efficiently.
some local
But it's 2
culture.
seasons, no movie, right? So like we really got to move.
No movie. Yeah. We gotta have the anime movie where everything that happens is non-canon.
Get our own OVA.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. You travel to an alternate world and you defeat Adolf Hitler. You get bonus points if you could tell me which anime that is.
Nope.
I got nothing. The tank
No.
one with the girls
No.
in the tanks? I don't know.
Girls in tank? No. What? Girls in Panzer? No, they don't travel sideways in time to kill
That's all I
Hitler.
vaguely remember. I've never
no.
watched it. So.
No cookie for me.
I'll let the comment section bring me the true answer. There's got to be someone out there that knows this one.
I'm just happy I finally got up to like episode 10 in Cowboy Bebop.
Are
What I just
the
finished
anime
watching.
or the Netflix series?
There's
Anime.
one on Hulu.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Which I also cannot. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I can't believe this is from 1998. Damn, it's good. Like I just love
It's-
the intro.
I just to be
It's
clear, I
good.
don't have beef with Cowboy Bebop. It's just that some people are like, Cowboy Bebop is the greatest anime that was ever created. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even close. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's very good. It was genre defining when it came out. It is definitely not the best anime that's ever been
No,
created.
Cowboy Bebop has a fantastic combination of aesthetic, of music, of like just like overall basic storyline. Like it hit it in a lot of like metrics that were certainly
It's a really good
rare at the
mix.
time, and then but are still like it's kind of like it set a standard that is emulated and going to continue to be for like ever at this
Man,
point.
I
For
feel
sure.
like it got replaced by Samurai Champloo, which had the
Wouldn't
same
say
sort of
replaced, but
rotating
anyway.
character aesthetic,
No.
crime
Ludemann
story.
on the defensive.
Now, I
No,
mean,
no.
wow.
No, I
Okay.
agree. Samurai Champloo was good. Was good. It was a successor in some ways, but certainly Cowboy Bebop still maintained the crown.
Okay.
I just like
Cowboy
I
Bebop
don't
didn't
know.
have a baseball episode, is all I'm saying.
I just love all like the little stuff, like when they tune into like the show with the bounty hunter show. Yeah,
That
so
listen,
good, right?
There are not a lot of things that are better in the Netflix series than are in the anime, but the live action version of the TV show is so good.
All right, I have to check that out for
Oh.
sure then.
okay.
I
It's
mean,
been on my
it's two
list to
people
check
who
out
look
then.
like those two, at the actor and the actress, and they're like, "Hey, partner, how's it going? It's the Bounty Hunter Roundup." I was like, "Damn, this is canon as fuck." There's some really cringe shit in this live action series, but this ain't one of them. Here's the thing. I don't remember Vicious having a really big part in the anime. And the Netflix series is basically like, what if Vicious had a backstory that was the entire
you shouldn't
season?
know much about him. You really should. You just know.
I'm 10 episodes in, and I've seen him in one episode. That's
He
it.
is in every
exactly.
episode of the live action, and there are basically entire episodes that are just dedicated to him and his story.
Okay,
I remember a lot of
that's
people
wrong.
using the church sequence as the selling scene to get people to watch the show. So it doesn't surprise me that there's some kind of obsession over the character, even if he wasn't nearly that big.
That emotional, like that scene is only like good if you've seen the rest of the show, right? Like it's just like it only hits at that point.
I feel like the thing about Vicious is that he's like the Emperor from Empire Strikes Back. You hear about how bad he is. You basically see him a couple of times and hear that he's a badass. He's kind of like Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, where you don't meet Sephiroth for a really long time, but everywhere you go, there's like a fucking huge snake that's dead. Or like there's a cargo ship filled with blood. And you're like, oh, Sephiroth was here. And I'm like, oh, Vicious. Yeah, he did bad shit. He's a really fucking scary dude. Every time he comes up, Spike is like,
Yeah,
anime
PTSD to the
crazy
max.
guy
Like.
eyes.
I'm just glad I'm like,
you got all that without having to be shown. And
Yeah.
I think that's like, that's important.
I'm just glad I'm finally like, I guess it's 28 episodes. I'm like a third of the way through, and I finally know who the main cast is on the loading screen.
There you go.
Because I was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
All right, they got
There's
the
a
dog.
dog,
Now there's the chick. But who is this little kid?
the little
It's like-
gremlin kid.
Einstein
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ed,
like 10 episodes to
Ed
figure out who
is
that
so good. Ed is my favorite.
I think the last episode I
The
watched.
episode
was
with the mold monster is like
That's the one I just
my
watched.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's
when he's
so
like fighting everyone,
good.
and Ed just wakes up and is like,
So
"Oh,
good.
I'm not hungry anymore."
It's silly. It's a bottle episode. It's absurd, but it just works. I love it.
the rock lobster, I think he called.
Mhm.
Too funny.
Wow, we spent all of our some of our post-episode time talking about a anime.
Yeah, surprise.
25 years ago.
Cowboy Bebop. I mean, look, it's good. It's solid. It's one of those ones that you should watch
Evergreen.
in the same way that you should watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, so that you understand the genre and
Fair.
the foundation.
Yeah. I would argue that stuff's important for sure. It's like you should watch MASH, right? Like it
Maybe
sets
not,
up a
like,
ton of
all
basic
of
TV
Smash,
show.
though. Like,
Well,
How many
you know,
seasons are there
yeah.
of Match?
There's a lot, but like it's one of those shows where it became a stereotype and a template for other shows to follow. So when you watch it, you see its effect on media. Like
I mean,
it's interesting.
for me as a teenager, Hawkeye going, I mean, hell is hell and war is war.
War,
Hell,
yeah. So
you
good.
have to deserve to be there. War happens to everybody, and I'm like, whoa,
It's
that's
so good.
so deep.
Alan Alda and that show's so good.
I mean, I feel like when they got Alan Alda to be the Republican presidential candidate in The West Wing, he was like, all right, I'm just gonna play Hawkeye again. And they were like, you know what, just fucking do that. Just do that. We're gonna let you do that. There's a whole episode where he's
It's
like,
a good bit.
oh, so you guys are afraid of nuclear power. I'm going to do a press conference where I answer incredibly technical questions about nuclear power. And everyone's like, here's a gotcha question. Here's a gotcha question. And then it's like in real time, right? And by the end of it, the reporters are like, I'm out of gotcha questions and I'm tired and it's California and it's hot outside. I'm going to leave. And he's like, that's it. You don't have any gotcha questions left. All right, technical reporters, ask me science questions. And his popularity skyrockets, and I was like, damn, Alan Alda's so good. He boomed him. He fucking boomed him.
He is. He's great.
Any predictions about the after effects of this episode? You guys did so much shit that's going to cascade out of control later in this episode. So
there's more to cascade. Like I've got like unsent letters here to like I was going to send a letter to Zoe that was actually on my list, so y'all kind of took care of that a little bit for me. Like, yeah, there's more. It's.
I mean, the thing about
wait.
sending letters though is that you don't have to know.
Oh,
Where
that takes time.
Addressee is though. You just have to tell the exchange of light you want it to reach a person, and they
exactly
getting the mail there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Sophie to start making decisions on your behalf.
Yeah. I want to see where that scene goes. I want to see how
It's going to be, and it's going to be even more like she's going to, I predict that she's going to make even more decisions if we don't go to Midapile.
My current prediction is that
she's going to go there and try to solve this problem with or without you.
Yeah. My current prediction is that we are going to wind up at Midapile, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of the three of you here are in a position to say we don't go to Midapile, because all three of you sound like you want to go to Midapile. Your characters just haven't said it to each other.
Yeah, but there's very good reason for Van-Vee specifically to not go, potentially.
But he literally just told Sophie he was going to go.
Of course, yeah.
That, and I think there was a moment of clarity for Van-Vee. He's like, well, actually, you're right. I was scared at the he's more to himself. Like, I was scared of the APGamingREAL system. Midapile government already knew, and they didn't care. So why would I not be able to go back to Midapile?
Because your dad is in the custody of a federal judge.
Nonsense.
He sent you a message specifically saying, don't come back to Midapile after frantically telling you to come back to Midapile?
That's basically the one thing I was like, well, what if you guys go back, what would Van-Vee do? Oh yeah, hyper boat racing. I guess that's
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a horror movie before?
I generally try to avoid them. Dun dun dun.
All right. Well, all I have to say is liberate tutemet ex inferis. And I feel like that's a great way to end this particular episode. Is me speaking Latin for like the 5th time in the show. Not getting better at it at all.
Event Horizon.
Yeah, of course it's Event Horizon. It's the horror part of Event Horizon where they're like, please save me, but it actually says save yourself from hell. Because they misheard it.
I really enjoyed that movie.
You would. It seems like the kind of movie you would enjoy. It's some fucked up shit. Any final closing thoughts? _draft _final _V2.
Oh, so you've worked with a designer before.
And a programmer, yeah. I have taken programming classes and I have a bachelor's degree in science. I've made programs before. I have project management experience as well. I know what outgoing files look like. Also, I know artists, so I get their whips, their works in progress. So yeah. Okay, you know what?
The only thing you were missing
a bunch of different angles.
Watch me
you were just missing the open parentheses 3 closed parentheses at the end.
Oh God, please! Yeah. I'm dying.
It's important.
Nope, I'm just waiting for everything to implode around us, all of our own doing.
Let chaos reign.
I want to imagine that there is some form of social media, and I don't know if you remember a few years ago when people were changing their social media handles to be like the King of Rohan saying like hearts and minds to Gondor or something like that, where they're you know what I'm talking about, where they were like prayers for Gondor or whatever, where it meant to parody and mock people that are just like, like thoughts and prayers essentially for offer nothing for a real situation. I want to imagine there are a bunch of social media accounts that are non-parodyingly doing that for Lita. You know what I mean? Like, as this information spreads across the sector, there are a bunch of people that put the lead-in flag as their Twitter emblem for a few weeks to be like, yeah, man, that situation on lead is real messed up. I feel really bad for those people. You know, we really should get out there and do something. And then a month later, people are going to be like, oh, that's still going on?
Yeah.
I thought we did something about that.
How bold of grandmother to double down on her comments when we were like, well, actually, a nuke was sent. A nuke was sent. Well, why weren't you prepared for that? Like,
Yeah, basically.
doubling down.
Why didn't
on
you
her
have the
shit.
extremely basic technology every world besides yours has?
It's literally hubris. The answer.
I told you that was the first scene I wrote for this game. I wanted to make sure that the psychics
What do you want to be, a psychic? All right, here's my first scene.
anti-technologist psychics got what was coming for them.
Yeah.
I'm out here to crush dreams, friends.
We are perfectly adequate at doing that to ourselves.
That's true. Accurate.
Did we have a underscore V2 final comment from you? I feel like I may have interrupted to go sideways.
No, I think I think Kate said it spot on. We said your inner Cosmo was showing at one point in the episode. I was like, shoot, get the microphone out of my dude's face.
Your inner Cosmo is showing. That's fighting words on some planets.
Because no, well, actually, we will have another episode before we have our Skaven showdown. So,
yeah, because the Skaven showdown is next Wednesday.
yeah, 16th.
It'll be a gentlemanly game. I like that I've never fouled and you have fouled.
I've done 3 fouls. 2 of them were just against the Amazons in that last game.
I did attempt to foul during my Nemesis game, and that was it. Season 1, I definitely fouled though, but it was always on the last play of the game as a fuck you on the way out the door.
I'll say the fouling worked against the Amazons. I took out his best player 3 times, but then she kept rolling good KO scores and coming back. But I'm kind of.
That's rough. You should try killing your opponents. Works out a lot better.
Yeah, I am yet to kill anyone actually, but
All
it'll be a good game.
We'll be back next week for. I thought we'd get to Midapile this episode, but maybe we'll get to Midapile next episode. Who knows? I really, truly hope that at some point this crew, in or out of character, sits down and talks about what direction they're going to go from here. I feel like we keep passing that buck down the road, and at some point that buck needs to be bucked.
I look forward to it.
Have a good time, Zone. What?